Eden Koz here with Just Be, and we are about to take a spiritual boom. We are at an unprecedented time in human history where we are transitioning from 3D to 5D within the great spiritual awakening. This video and audio podcast is the place for you to find your truth beyond politics, your sovereignty, your voice. Let's kick up your vibration now. By the way, each episode ends with the Just Be practice to do just that. P.S. Just to know a little bit more about me, I'm a psychological empath, meditation master, dimensional healer, all the things to help you within this ascension. To learn more about me, visit me at edenjustbe.com. And let's get this party started. Iain, as I always do, I get ready for our discussion and I just pull energy out. So
Yep,
I'm feeling
the tingles already. It's all good.
Heck yeah. All right, I'm going to start. All right, Eden, Just Be Spiritual Boom. Hello. Oh, Eden, I didn't ask you how to say your last name correctly, so you might have to correct me when I read your bio, but we'll get to that in a second. Go ahead. What is it?
Nope, it's Beaton.
Beaton, okay.
Yeah, Beaton, yeah.
All right, that's so awesome. All right, so please go ahead and say hey to the watchers and the listeners.
Hey, guys. Welcome to Eden's podcast, and thank you for being here. And hopefully we're going to have a great time talking about all sorts of things to do with past lives and yeah, hopefully some information to help people with trauma at the end and clear some traumas possibly. So
love that.
Happy to introduce a little bit of a technique that was gifted to me by a beautiful Heyoka. And we can go into that later. But yes, awesome. I'm just glad to be here. So yeah.
Let me add into that hopefully, it's not hopefully that this is going to be great. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
All right. This podcast is now in association with the Grassroots Warrior Network, and I'm so appreciative to be part of that network now because it's basically quadrupled my viewership, which is awesome. And my connection to Iain, he was giving a presentation with a group that I'm connected with to Connecting Consciousness. So that's how we have connected. So discussing past lives, parallel lives, QHHT, and beyond. But before I read his beautiful bio, I do want to give a nod to Lynn Everard. He was a guest on the podcast twice. And typically all my guests, except I do have regulars, P and Cullen, who are here every 6 weeks. And normally that's kind of it. So Lynn was here twice. He was going to be editor of my upcoming book. So it's taken a while for me to bring that in for many, many reasons. So just on the cusp of, I'm ready. And then he goes and he just passes away. He was a beautiful soul. And wonderfully, we had about 12 to 13 sessions together. So my work, getting to work with him. So really getting to see him deeply. I was so appreciative of those moments. And what Iain and I are going to probably go into today, as I also don't believe the mainstream belief about, well, I guess it's mainstream belief about dying. I believe that the soul is eternal. So I know that Lynn is going to be helping with the Great Awakening because he knew all about it from another dimension, from the other side. So I just, yet I will miss him in this 3D world. So love to him. Okay, moving on. Iain Beaton is a classically trained hypnotherapist who specializes in a diverse array of techniques, including the renowned Dolores Cannon's method of QHHT, which we're going to talk about today, which will be awesome. Additionally, he holds a Reiki Level 2 certification, enabling him to offer exceptional energy healing services for those seeking a recalibration of their energy centers. His primary area of expertise lies in past life therapy, wherein he adeptly guides individuals to explore their life's purpose and role in this ever-changing world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, every day is changing. Currently based in the scenic Highlands of Scotland, near its capital city, Inverness. I did say that correctly, didn't I?
Inverness, but we'll let you off with that one.
Yeah, thank you. Iain conducts his practice from the comfort of his home, like me, and from online sessions, which is awesome. If you're seeking profound healing with meaningful insights with a safe and dedicated individual, Iain facilitates a unique and transformative experience that will empower you to embrace life's opportunities, find your potential, as well as navigate its challenges with newfound clarity and purpose. All right. Anything you want to add to that? That was great.
No, that's pretty much, and it's giving me the tingles just listening to that. Great. It's just been an awesome journey along that way, and
Nice.
yeah, the amount of popularity from obviously your side of the pond now due to these presentations has just been phenomenal. And yeah, people reaching out, and
Yes.
I'm happily, helping them move through their trauma. Venturing into the dark side to find the light. That's what we do. That's what I like to do.
Yeah. And
As
how,
light, this is what we do as light workers, So
yes, exactly. How long have you been doing this?
8 years. Eight
Okay.
years since 8 years since I gained my first certificate, which began with QHHT.
Okay.
And that in itself is obviously where my passion began with Dolores was work.
Okay. What'd you do before this? I'm sorry to interrupt you a little bit.
I know the tangent of moving into this new line of work came from a lifetime of working in a kitchen, basically being a chef in the hospitality industry in Scotland.
Really?
Tough job. That's pretty much what led me to sort of a breakdown within myself. I guess kind of sparked the awakening process in me, because you're dealing with really heavy energies. You're really, the high pressure, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, it catapulted me into sort of my butterfly moment. And the death of the caterpillar was that chef. And then what ignited from that was just an amazing awakening journey, I guess, which led me to Dolores's work.
What a switch. So
Yeah.
how many, like, did you work in a lot of different restaurants? Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mainly worked in Scotland. I did a little stint in America. I did a little when I was just over doing a little traveling holiday. I was helping out there in Nantucket, which was my first
Oh,
experience of the US over in Massachusetts, a beautiful part of the world. So big shout out
yeah.
to all those people out there. Yeah, back in my early 20s that I sort of ventured over there, and I was looking for a way out of my job that I was actually in. So it was a great opportunity to expand the horizons and gain some experience there, which I did. I loved it. But yeah, I worked mainly in sort of barista style, sort of doing sort of all homemade food, and yeah, I kind of that was giving me an outlet for my creative edge that I guess I had. But if you'd asked me, when I was in school, what I was going to be, I was a lost soul. I was a
Oh,
lost soul. I didn't know what to be. And then if you said to me when I was in my 20s, would I be a hypnotherapist in my 40s? I'd be like, no way. So yeah,
mhm.
the tangents is just by me following my passion, I guess. And I think I have to pay credit to my father there for planting some seeds with leaving the sort of what was it, Reader's Digest magazines lying around the house with pictures of aliens' heads on it, and explained all these phenomenal topics that really sparked interest in otherworldly stuff. And then obviously that just grew and grew. My passion for ufology and paranormal, all that sort of thing and then obviously led me to Dolores, because back in the days when YouTube had its amazing algorithms, you started watching one UFO, whatever, it gave you something else along that lines before they were sort of shepherding away from whatever you were trying to watch. But now, well, back then, Dolores's videos came up on my feed, recommended, okay, let's go in here. And then before you know it, she's a little advert for her course. So you could see how all these beautiful synchronicities played out, led
So
me to this
at
work.
the time doing your, like, being a chef, just really not feeling, like you talked about, the tingle, not feeling tingling with that. Were you at this point of just, oh my gosh, I've got to find something else to do? Or what led you into that? Were you just like, okay, there's got to be more than this?
Yeah, exactly. I was just noticing things happening on repeat.
Yeah.
I'd be in a job and then I would start to lose passion with that place, maybe jump ship. and go to another restaurant. You know, they were probably in three to 4 year loops on repeat, and then that was kind of happening with the relationships as well. And you know, these things were kind of just grinding the gears almost, you know, and repeating the same patterns over and over again. So this is what kind of I do when I help people. I'm trying to get them to recognize these loops, because these loops are there for you know, if you're not enjoying life, you know, there's going to be these repeating patterns in your life, and whether that manifests as pain or dissatisfaction with your life, it will keep trying to get your attention. And so I think as soon as you're tapping into your passion, because I remember when I first trained as a chef, you're always like, "No, you got to be passionate about your work. You got to put, you know." And I was like, "Where is that?" I couldn't find it. You know, I was just doing it paint by numbers sort of style and just going with it. But yeah, I was a really good chef, but I couldn't find the passion. I couldn't find the passion. So when you're in that situation, you tend to you get stuck into a corner, a rut, whatever, and then eventually you have that boom moment where you're just catapulted. For me, it catapulted me onto the hypnotherapy side. So yeah, you know, the all the sort of negative aspects that come with working in a kitchen, you know, the long hours, dealing with addictions. You know, there's so many chefs out there that are probably, you know, heavily involved in addictions, alcohol, that sort of thing, and it's a strong Scottish cultural thing, you know. But no, I managed to break out of that. I never was a big, you know, never really deep into that anyway, you know, but I was able to suck myself out of it, and really, I felt
So
quite
you didn't
empathic.
experience that, the addiction portion of it.
Yeah, oh yeah, so to a degree, yes. But
Okay.
I remember always having been with a strong sense of willpower. You know, I've always had that in me. People used to say, "Oh, how can you just give up like that?" No problem at all. Just go months and months without alcohol, and then yeah, you know, but now it's just come down to almost being teetotal. You know, only special occasions, and yeah, it's really, you know, you have to have a clear mind, and all these addictions, they're just symptoms, you know. And once you fix yourself, you don't need these addictions, you know. So yeah, you have to go into this work completely clear of trauma, and I definitely did a lot of that clearing over the years. So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I get that. All right. So, one of my first questions that I ask folks on the show is, how did you start to become aware of the Great Awakening? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I know. Well, kind of for me, I guess it goes back to about 2012, and you can probably ask this to a lot of people and see that within that 12-month period, that's when a lot of people began this sort of awakening process. So yeah, for me, definitely around about that point, the dark night of the soul moment for most people. And I've heard a lot of people have these experiences, Kundalini awakenings, dark night of the soul, whatever you want to call it, a huge shift, a huge sense of awareness entering into their, you know, being. And it's almost like the soul's wake up. The soul can't take any more, you know, and this will be true for all your viewers. You know, there'll be somewhere along that spectrum, there'll be a point where it just gets to the point of breaking point. And so for me, that happened around about 2012, 2013. And yeah, I remember having this out of body experience, which surrounded that, around about that time. And when I came back into my body, I really felt a heightened sense of awareness, more empathic. I mean, I was empathic anyway, and I was always interested in listening to other people's issues and being able to try and fix them before I even went into therapy.
Right.
So you could see, you know, the natural born instincts and the clues already within me, but it needed to be awakened. So that had to be almost like pushing that coal into the pressure that it's going to become a diamond. And then boom, that's when it happens for me around about then. And then yeah, it really it's a process that keeps evolving, you know. So it's just awakening after awakening, wave after wave, and I think we're all experiencing that on some level.
Oh, right now, especially. All right. So that happened about 10 years ago. You started doing this work. 8 years ago. When that happened to you, what, like, you were doing chef work at the time? Was it kind of a gradual thing, and then Dolores's class came up? To explain that, how that progression to us.
Yeah, I just said, look, guys, I can't do this anymore. I'm dipping out. I'm going to remain part-time, and I still help out part-time as we speak. But it's just dipping in, and I'm quite happy to help and offer my expertise and guidance to when it's just, when I feel. But I'm very conscious of it robbing my energy now.
Oh my
So I have
gosh.
yeah. So back then it was definitely robbing my energy to the point where I needed to take a backseat. I needed to just the soul needed to rest.
Okay.
So that's what happened. I ended up just saying, I'm going to take a dip out. I'll move part time. I started doing all the guinea pig sessions that comes with QHHT, and boy, were they amazing sessions. You know, when you're taught QHHT, you're told, nope, you might get the odd mind blowing session that could be like out of Dolores's books. You'll mostly get digging potato lives, is what Dolores referred to. But no, back in the beginning for me, I was starting to get really powerful sessions,
Right off the bat.
right off the bat. And
Okay.
when I look back, nothing
Wow.
to do with skill, nothing to do with skill. You're just a facilitator. So yeah, finding the balance and that was, and it still is, just a bit of a juggle. But the transition was easy enough for me because I was just going, right, I'm following my passion now.
Oh my God. Okay, let me interrupt you just a second. Can you tell anyone who is not familiar with Dolores Cannon
Yeah.
more about her, and tell us about QHHT, what that involves?
Yeah, well, Dolores obviously was I guess, a pioneer of her own method. She accidentally stumbled across past life regression, or past lives, in her early years working with her husband. And what happened there was, it was just a simple session where the woman came with weight loss issues, addiction issues, whatever she needed to try and fix. And then lo and behold, she's discovering that there's a different personality within these sessions that comes forward. And then, her work obviously spanned 40, 50 years,
Yeah.
and so many amazing books. And the QHHT method was born, I think, round about the turn of the century. So I think it was early sort of noughties, whatever, round about then, that really she started to teach the method, which has been obviously mastered by loads of practitioners around the world now. And they've obviously trying to follow in her footsteps. This is certainly what I still do. I still, feel like, that these sessions are just waiting for a book to be written now. So yeah.
Let me say one thing. I was listening to one of her stories where basically, and can correct me if I'm getting this incorrect, something about Sigmund Freud, or how in terms of the psyche, there was this: you only go to a certain level. This is a safe level. And she was like, oh no, we need to go past that, because this is where all the juicy stuff is. So she, in terms of being a pioneer, was like, hey, we are going to step into this, and it's not only okay, this is where, and her discovering people having galactical lives. Like, I'm listening to one book that she wrote in the 1980s, again,
Yeah.
being a pioneer, basically going, and there are 3 waves of star seeds that are here. Like, she really,
Yeah.
and when did she pass away? Are you aware of that?
2014, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah,
so she is also on the other side helping us out. All right, please
definitely.
go on. Tell us more.
So yeah, no, you're right. Dolores's work was, breaking down the frontiers where clinical hypnotherapy dares to tread. She was pushing down these walls, asking questions, and then stumbling across what most people refer to now as the higher self. And a lot of people say, "Well, what is the higher self?" And it's just the bigger you. It's the interdimensional part of you that is beyond the veil and on this side of the veil. It's so multifaceted. It's connected to all your past lives. It knows absolutely everything. And it's just a bigger version of you, connected to your soul and your soul's journey. So we can ask that. And Dolores asked lots of questions to the
Yes,
higher
she
self.
did.
You know, what's a Sasquatch? What's the Loch Ness Monster? You know, why? Who built the pyramids? All these things in a lot of our books, you know. And don't get me wrong, I've gone a little bit like a kid in a candy shop too, sometimes asking these questions in my sessions, and sometimes my clients too. You know, they will obviously bring some questions to their session that they want answers to, and we address it to the higher self. So the higher self taps into this main frame of knowledge. It just pulls it out and goes, "Yep." If it's appropriate, though, that's the thing. If it's appropriate for the client to get the information, they will. And obviously, the past lives that come with it. I mean, I could talk all day about some of the experiences I've had, but the
I do
ones that
want
have
to
been
hear.
more recent. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
want
can
to
go
talk
to one or
about.
two. Yeah, let's hear
I
what
really wanted to
you've
talk about the
experienced.
one that's relevant today. You know,
Awesome.
because this is a fairly fresh session that I did a couple of weeks ago with a client. And the beautiful thing was that I was at a mind, body, and spirit fair back in spring, and I organized this sort of raffle to win a hypnotherapy session. So lo and behold, I run it over into my Facebook page, and people were buying up tickets. And then I did the draw of, I can't remember, about a month ago, whatever. But no, the winner was a previous client of mine, and she'd already done 2 sessions, which are on my YouTube channel, which I've transcribed.
Neat.
My YouTube channel is Iain Beaton for those that are wanting to go there. But yeah, this was her 3rd session that she came for. I was excited. I thought, wow, this is obviously the universe. And she said she muscle tested for the number, because you chose a number. She muscle tested, got the winning number from muscle testing. Kinesiology for all those that are wanting to explore that. And she won. And oh my God, what a session we had. So I'll try and keep it brief, because it's epic.
Wow.
So the session unfolds as when my client comes into a memory. And this is part of my technique that I'll use memories. And that memory could be a past life, it could be childhood, whatever. But it just so happened to be that she was in some sort of space, something probably like this backdrop here. Mm-hmm. But all she could see was this huge white light. And I was like, okay. And I was thinking this was source energy initially, because a lot of people experience that within sessions, that they're going back to source energy. And I thought, okay. But as a practitioner, must never take anything for what it's presented to you. Never take it for granted. So I'm trying to gather as much information as possible. And so it turned out that this was actually a star. And this star had a dark patch to it in the center. And at that point, I was getting quite nervous. And this is where I step in as a practitioner to the safety of the client is paramount. So I ask her to focus on her protection and then just see what happens next. Okay. And what unfolded was that this black center to the star was kind of like an energy that was destroying the star. And she had such a connection to the star that she felt almost like it was family. And it was her role as a being among, well, she then went on to describe herself as a very high density being with no form, just energy. And she was forming with, for lack of a better word, colleagues, I guess, to try and form this membrane around the star to stop this energy from destroying anything else. So it was a damage limitation mission that she was on. Unfortunately, she perished in that experience. And then she goes to then meet her council. Her council then told her that she's got other missions that are waiting, other planets that are needing her assistance. So on she goes. She's talking about other stars, white planets, red rocky planets, you name it. We're not getting names as such, but nonetheless, each and every one of them have some sort of event that's happened or happening that's causing them to, for lack of a better word, die.
Right.
So her mission is a planet saver.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
This is her has been her soul's journey the entire time, a planet saver. How about that on your resume? So,
like a lot of people would look at that and go, what is this on your resume? But like us, we'd be like, oh my God, that's so great.
Exactly. In the 5D, you just take that for granted now. But no, so fast forward, she keeps on perishing in these lifetimes, trying to save these energies from causing damage, and what happened after it got to the point where she was feeling really frustrated, though. This is what was building within her soul's energy, was a frustration, be coming back, doing the same thing over and over again. And so, but when I listen back now to this session, because I did go back and take some notes for this podcast today, I was feeling that what she was gaining from these experiences was the strength and knowledge how to build a better protection for when it was needed. So fast forward, she meets her council, and then I think she's then told that she has to go to this other planet we call Earth.
Oh, wow.
So she's now forming, now she's advanced a little bit. She has to come into this density with a body. And she's talking because it's a thicker density around our planet, so she has to have this denser body. So basically she's describing that half the size of a human, and she's actually in a physical craft this time, and it's like an orb, and she's forming this network along with many others like her, and they're forming this membrane around planet Earth. So this membrane was again to try and stop destructive energy from leaving. But what could possibly be causing destructive energy on Earth? Can I ask you what you think that may be? Go for it. Take a stab. Take a stab.
Oh, sure. The Dracos, the Greys, the inverted. There's so much going on with this Great Awakening beyond politics, and I mean, it's let me cough for a second or clear my throat. It's just huge what is going on right now.
So she's seeing the planet and what's happening on it, and she's like going, I'm getting so frustrated with these people down there,
Yes.
What are they do? She goes, they just are getting so carried away with their power. She starts to see all these nuclear explosions happening.
Yep.
Now, I don't want to put fear out there, because it's going to kind of got a happy ending to it.
Because I do. Let me go ahead and interject. I believe no, everything's going to be okay. Yet it's especially where we are right now. There's just this settling with the golden light covering the earth, which also means the cabal, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call it, the Dracos. It's going to get intense. So this kind of aligns with that. So calm. Okay. Yeah.
So she starts to see all these explosions happening, and then obviously perishes again.
Oh. Whoa.
Back to her council. This time she's in between lives.
Okay.
So she's at this place where she actually loves. And we've been there in the previous sessions, which you can hear on my YouTube. She describes the hall of knowledge, the libraries, the classrooms, the guides, you name it, her council. She's meeting her council. You can imagine the frustration in her now is like, why do I have to keep on doing this?
And it not working, essentially.
And I said, well, ask your guides for some information, advice, or your council, ask them for some advice. And when they initially, addressed her, they were laughing, and she was just feeling her frustration even more, probably. But she just couldn't find the purpose in doing this over and over again if it was just causing so much angst and death of her soul. So I asked, okay, ask your council for some advice. And she waited, and she F-bombed her council. She just said, they've never got any advice. And I'm like, okay. And then she was ushered away. She went back with this archetype energy and did a one-to-one healing session with this archetype in this kind of healing part of the I guess, the higher astrals. And then after that, she was, right, okay, I'm a bit more chill now. And obviously then her council were like, okay, you're allowed to talk now, sort of thing. It's almost like there's an analogy there. There's an analogy like if we're frustrated and we want to connect with our guides, it's not going to happen. We have to allow ourselves to, get up to that, for them to make that connection, not the other way around, because they find it so hard to deal with those lower density energies, stress, anxiety, all that sort of thing. So
Right.
she had to heal that. And then she was basically told that, you're going to have to go back and do this again. And yeah, she just said, I remember when she was describing the experience before she passed, though, she was like saying, we could just take them all out. We could just take them all out. And she was referring to the people on the planet causing all the trouble,
Okay, the
and
dark
probably,
energy.
or just wipe everyone out. I don't think, she had no empathy at all for anything on the planet, although she did have the empathy for the planet itself. So she described this connection that the planet has with its people. Said it's a kind of strange kind of love, I think she used when she was describing. It's a strange kind of love that Gaia has with the people on it. And I was like, okay. And she said, yeah, when she got back to her council, said, yeah, we're in uncharted territory now. We're letting this play out. We're going to see if these humans can actually work out how to, obviously, I guess, live as one in harmony, but yeah, obviously to get rid of the greed and the power, all these structures that are in place and have been in place for millennia, eons. And I think what was beautiful about that, though, was said that we're in uncharted territory.
Yes.
And we are just like letting it play out. It's just almost like a game. For the other people that are up there watching down at the us, they're just fascinated about what could potentially happen next.
Because
So
what I understand too is the ascended beings are not, cannot interfere. Like it'd be beautiful if everybody came down. To bring love, and yeah, you humans, you soul, yeah. What are y'all gonna do? You got to step up, and the more open you are, and the more vibrationally aligned you are, that does allow more to come through.
Yeah.
So today in her life now here with us, it's just kind of having that vibration and knowing, like, what is she doing at this moment?
An artist, and she's trying to get into writing as well. She wants to try and be her. This is something that was beautiful about her, and that a lot of people will be able to align with this. If you're artists, if you are at a low vibration and you're painting, your vibration is going into that painting. People watching or looking at your art are going to feel that on a subliminal level. So once you, as a person, have raised your vibration and you're putting all of your passion into your art, then people pick up on that. And so this is what her art was meant to do. And she had so much frustrations about why her art wasn't selling.
Oh my gosh.
Why wasn't it selling? Low vibrations.
Yep.
So yeah, this is what the power of the session can do, though. It can, shine the light on these. We can heal them. She definitely got healing from that session without me prompting it at all. She just got taken to this healing, something out of Dolores's books, which she had actually read. But it was a beautiful experience for her to heal and release all that negative energy that was causing the frustration in her current life. So yeah,
wow,
beautiful. And I am in debt to her. She was giving me permission to share the last 2 sessions, and she gave me permission to talk about this session. So I want to thank her. She knows who she is, but she'll remain confidential. That yeah, it's just an amazing a sort of client practitioner relationship that we have sort of grown over, because it's really helped my work, and it's really helped with her work too. So you can see how the two meet.
And I want to place this in there and have you comment on it. I had a trade with a dear soul colleague of mine. This was the first time she brought up a galaxy remembrance of me. So I've had parallel lives experiences before where, you feel it. Like I'm not hypnotized. I'm conscious, I guess you would say. And when you connect with that, you have all the feelings around it. So this was the first time that I had a galactical experience where a planet that I was on basically exploded well, I don't know. Well, it just perished. As you're talking about this woman working on planets that are kind of not doing so well. And I started crying, and it was just this, like, you can really see how connected we are, not just to Earth, but there's so much more to us as souls, to beings. It was one of those quintessential moments for me, and knowing all this, but this was the first time I really experienced it emotionally. So I want to put it out there. It was so great. So when your clients experience this for the first time, because I'm assuming there are a lot of people that also come to you and they're like, oh my gosh, there's so much more inside of me. When they finish a session with you, what do they feel like? What do you experience with them?
Lots of different experiences, like rabbit in the headlights to just some people really struggle. It's not always
Yeah.
a bed of
Yeah.
roses. Some people are like, I just had clients recently, that we've had to go back and do repeat sessions. They felt that the initial sessions caused a bit of an imbalance in their psyche, and they are meant to feel that for a reason, though. It's
Right.
almost like shaking, bringing everything to the surface that needs to be healed, so that when we can do a follow-up session, okay, yeah, and then after that, balance is restored. So people have different reactions client to client, but there's always a profound, especially if you get a profound experience, if you get real deep connection with your higher self. Because everyone's ability to get into the higher self is different. It's varied client to client. And I think that is reflective of where you are on your spiritual journey.
Yes.
So we have to kind of respect that as practitioners. We can't push the buck too much there. So it's all about just the client will get exactly what they're meant to get from their session. And I'll always ask the higher self or during the session, did the client get everything that they were meant to achieve today within the session? And I'll always get a yes, because it's always meant to be whatever they get is exactly for their journey at this particular moment on their path. So yes, I've healed people that have had chronic illnesses, arthritis, people with like cancers have found that their cancers have gone into a remission, but they've done other modalities of work as well, but the trauma behind the condition is what we're looking for, because that is nearly every dis-ease out there has trauma at its core. So this is kind of where my work as a trauma specialist now, it's just grown. I mean, I'm not gone to college to become a trauma specialist. It's just become a part of my path, experiencing so much trauma within my sessions that it's just like, okay, let's figure this out. What's this causing within the current climate of the client's balance, whatever, their issues that they bring to the table will form a sort of path, or it'll be clues that we can explore and help to resolve them, so that they no longer have that dis-ease. So yeah, it can be from simple getting over a phobia. I had a client who just wanted to get over a fear of flying, and yep, I did one of my other techniques that we'll talk about, and it was just a simple clearing using power of the breath and slightly unorthodox approach. But
I love unorthodox.
unorthodox.
I love that. I am curious. A lot of my for the first time, the biggest age range of my clients is in the 20s. It's like suddenly they're just coming out of the woodwork, and from what I understand, they are pivotal, this age group, in terms of, I guess we'll call it the tipping point of the Great Awakening, as they start to open up it's just like this dark night of the soul. I mean, they are coming and just things are just exploding out of them. And with my clients right now too, knowing we are at this heavy duty point, people are showing up, not just my relationships, my love relationships, my family relationships are not feeling great. Then we include my work. Then we include myself, like this existential crisis as well, knowing that this, and I'm putting this out there to everybody, this is what needs to happen right now. And this is what Ian and I are here to help with. Are you seeing that as well?
Yes, definitely. The it was easy for us to waken up 10, 15, 20 years ago.
I would say
compared to now.
easier. Yeah,
Easier.
It's been a process for me. It's been a
Of
process. Like I
course.
can even move into this galactical stuff now and be like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
it's an individual process, and can be quite traumatic for a few people. But for me, I'm kind of blessed that when I look and listen to other people's awakening experiences, then yeah, I got off light. So, but what's happening now, though, with everything that's coming to the surface in this current climate that we're in, it's so dense. It's so, and these souls are obviously choosing to be born at this experience, to experience this. And honestly, I've lost so many people that have taken their own lives, especially just recently. And it's really hard. I put a thing on Facebook, look, if you're needing someone to talk to, reach out. I'll offer a free conversation. We can chat. And yeah, I had some great feedback from that. A few people reached out. I did one particular trauma clearing session on just like that. Boom, 6-year-old trauma gone in 10 minutes, and then his doorbell rang. So yeah, that was just, and it's between the 20s and the 40s now, we're seeing this they're really struggling with their mental health. Really struggling, and it's all down to what we have been put through over the past 3-4 years, and it's just necessary to go through that, to purge it all, to heal it, because you need to heal it. In order to heal it, you need to feel it. So this is what we're going through.
Yeah.
So this is why everything right now, it's if you can withstand the pressures of life, that whole analogy with turning into a diamond, you'll turn into a diamond. So you just have to keep on with the pressure and heal it, navigate it, feel the inner strength, because we are eternal beings. Nothing can destroy us. And this is what's helped me on my journey, is understanding that the soul never dies. So having lost my mother and both my parents to the big C, my mother very young and my dad in my 20s, obviously that comes with a grieving process. But doing this work has led to me to just, okay, they're not gone. They're just moved on. They just moved into a different room. So yeah, that really helps.
That analogy.
Yeah,
into a different room. And the same thing with Lynn that I talked about in the beginning of the show. Yeah.
So yeah, this time that we're going through now, it's the time of the Great Awakening. It's really necessary for people to evolve spiritually, because if you go back a century to when they were playing around all these nuclear weapons, they are juveniles compared to where we're at right now. So we are progressing. I can see it anyway. We're progressing as a human race, but it's not over. We have to put the hard work in. We have to work with ourselves. We have to do our own shadow work. And yes, more and more therapists out there are there, having walked the path, and obviously there to, shine our light for them to come to us for healing.
Yes.
And boom, we have the new earth.
Boom. And to tag on to what you're saying, it is, I'm not sitting here and saying, oh, you just got to do it. It is hard. It is because right now with that, it impacts your soul, it impacts your whole being. Yet this is the way it's supposed to be. This is why you came here right now. So you planned this before you came here. So hang in there, hang tough. We are here to help you. And this, how about we can go straight into the Just Be practice.
Just Be practice.
To you. All right, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
What you gonna do today?
So
Iain.
it kind of works perfectly into this because this is I have to pay credit to the gentleman who shared this tech with me.
Yes.
This technique is amazing in its simplicity, and it can literally, it sounds hard to believe, but it can literally transform you in one session, simple session. I'm going to demonstrate it. Obviously, I'm sure I need your permission to you be my guinea pig. Are you
Please,
ready?
yes.
Are you ready to venture into the dark side?
Always. I don't think it's the
We'll
dark
come
side.
out
Let's say the
shining.
unconventional, more unconventional side. Yes, please.
Yes, there's negative and positive. And always remember, there's the middle one as well, the balance.
Yes.
The duality with the balance in the middle. The Trinity. So yeah, so I will credit, and I will quite happily name him as David Ian Rogers, who I did a session with. I instantly recognized that I needed to do a session with this guy. I said, right, I don't care how much. I've seen him on Charlie Ward. He's in a couple of YouTube interviews for those that are interested in his work. And yet, after the session he did with me, he said, now I'm going to show you how to do this method. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is awesome. So I sat on it for 6 months, and then I went and asked for some guinea pigs to see if this really did work. Obviously, it's uncharted territory for me, different branch of therapy that I can add to my practice, though. The very first session I did, I had a woman who was dealing with guilt of losing her husband to suicide. 45 minutes later, gone, all gone. And she still talks about that session. I hear from 3 friends. She went on to do a few things on her bucket list. So yeah, and like I said, mentioned before, getting over the fear of flying, you can use it for any negative emotion, whatever, bad memory, to disconnect the emotion from the memory. So if you're ready,
Yes.
I won't hold you back any longer.
Okay.
So I want you just to take a big deep breath and empty your mind. Without thinking, I want you to go back to a memory that's ever so painful. And don't have to tell me, just think about it. See it play out. Have you found one?
Hold on, not yet, because I've done a lot of work as well. So let me find something that's still a little. Okay. Can I ask you this question real quick?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm experiencing a lot of body pain right now. Can I focus on that? Oh, okay. All right.
Well, we're working with memories here.
Okay, with memories. All right.
So if you can, without thinking, go to a memory that's quite painful for you, that you want to clear for good.
Ooh, good.
Let me know. Let me know when you find one.
Okay, got it.
You got it. Nice. So just see yourself in that memory. See all the things being said in that memory. How and what role you're playing within that memory. Other people that are maybe playing their role too, what they're saying. Maybe there's negative words being thrown around. Maybe there's negative words being thrown around in your head that you're buying into. And just hear and see that playing out until you start to feel that bad feeling associated with that memory build up in the body. Starting to feel the low vibrations of that. Just let me know when you feel that.
Get thumbs up.
Yeah. Is it making you feel quite low? Right. Good. Who would have thought? David Ian Rogers said that. Good. You would never hear a therapist say that, would you? Good. You're feeling bad? Yes. Good.
Oh, I say that a lot. Yeah, got it.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to trick your mind into letting go of that. So through the little bit of laughter, which is unique to this technique. So, do you want to clear that bad feeling associated with that memory for good, yes or no?
Yes.
Fantastic. Excellent. Right, try and make sense of this. Did that make sense, yes or no?
No.
Fantastic. And just for your viewers, I am not insane. No, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get you to laugh, let go of it so that it can no longer affect. So what I'm going to do now is get you to follow this breathing pattern, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll describe it first and then we can do it. So with your mouth closed at all times, I want you to breathe all the way through your nostrils down into the diaphragm, allowing your belly to inflate on the in-breath and deflate on the out-breath. Understand? So keeping your mouth closed, take it and hold it at the top for 2-3 seconds and then release, okay? So breathe in through the nostrils and release, going through the nostrils the same way it came in. Are you noticing your belly inflating on the in-breath? Good. So keep repeating that over and over again until you start to feel maybe lightheaded or you start to feel that bad feeling associated with that memory dissipating. Because we're allowing the breath to do its magic here, because what the breath is the spirit. It's the part of us that leaves us when we croak. It's connected to our soul. So it has immense power to go into the belly of the beast and dissolve the connection that it has deep in the bowels of whatever that was festering. So keep going. Keeping the mouth closed at all times. Not releasing any of that power out through the mouth, allowing it to go up and down the vessel, dissolving, disintegrating, disconnecting to that memory. Keep going. I'll leave it for you for a little while. And just show by a nod of the head, are you feeling lightheaded? Are you starting to feel that dissipate? Good. So we'll just do 3 more then. And on the last breath, I want you just to sink into the out breath with a nice sigh. Sink into it. Last few breaths. Feeling that power of the breath to work its magic. For anyone following along with this, may I add? Yes. Just keep doing this until you start to feel that bad feeling dissipate. How are you feeling, Eden?
Good.
Good. Right. So, come back. How do you feel? Is the bad feeling gone?
Yes.
Fantastic. We want to test it though. So go back into that memory and try and recreate that bad feeling associated with that memory.
It's so easy. I can't. Right off the bat.
What do you notice instead?
It's like I can't even go there. Like I can't even try to create it because it just won't. It's like it won't even let me. Essentially, like it's really gone. So there's not even I can't even try.
And just so I know, I didn't pay you anything to say that, did I?
No, you did. No, you did not. Nice. And for those who are following along,
for the skeptics out there.
Yeah. For those who are following along, I'm assuming they could do this exact same thing. So I would encourage. Tell me.
Yeah, apart from if you answered yes to that stupid noise I made, which kind of a little bit of Donald Duck thrown in there, by the way. That's something I did as a kid, by the way. Yes. And we have to. I make that silly noise though because I'm trying to trick your brain into guessing what, you know, and it's releasing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just trying to make sense of it all, but it can't. And then it just, releases it by agreeing that that does not make sense. If you agreed that that did make sense before, obviously, you answer, then maybe you need to book a session.
Yes, or potentially try this again, or I don't know.
Yes, I would,
yeah.
if, for example, you did say, yes, that made sense, I would repeat until it didn't make sense, because this is the beauty about the brain. It only holds on to things that make sense. When we say no, it deletes it. So yeah, you can use that as a tool. And this is a beautiful, simple technique that was passed on to me by David Ian Rogers. So I'm in debt to him for it, because every time I've helped a client with this method, it instantly brings me back to him, and I just send that gratitude right back to him. So
we'll send that gratitude
props
to him and to you as well, because what I love about the Just Be practice at the end, especially when my guests lend their expertise, that every time we close this podcast, there's just something amazing that has been gifted to anyone who is listening, because I am also I'm getting chills all over. I am feeling that what you just did, Iain, helped a ton of people. And that's what the show is all about. Let me get up.
exactly.
It's to educate, I guess is the best word, people on the Great Awakening, what it means to you, and how we're all in this together. We're healing all together, and we're all at different levels, yet we aren't. We are all in this. We are all together, regardless of who you are, regardless of what you're feeling. So thank you so much for doing that and sharing that today with everybody.
You're very welcome.
All right, so we're gonna close, and I'm gonna share Iain. So Iain's website, I will post if you're viewing this. If you're listening to this, all of his links will be included in the description below. From the other side of the pond, as you put it, so great for you to be here. And again, I like to have guests all over the world on here, which is awesome. Is there anything else you want to close us with, or do you feel like we've done it all?
No, I just want to extend my gratitude for having me. And yes, this is what we're doing. We're ending mental, physical trauma for good. We are as light workers. Like, this technique was passed on to me. I'm helping so many other people. It's almost like a network that we're forming as light workers to help people with their trauma, and we're here. So I just want to extend that hand, and we can all do it ourselves. We don't need practitioners like me to do it, but yes, sometimes we do need a facilitator, especially when it comes to the higher self. But yes, we can always, when we set the intentions from our heart space, we can make that connection to our own higher self. We just have to ask. The higher self is always extending a helping hand. We just have to reach out and grab it. And that comes with affirmations and talking to it all the time. Ask it, what do I need to know today that is unseen to me, and will help me on my journey? I've started using that in my daily routine now.
That is lovely. And let me put it out there too, that sometimes a facilitator is key. Well, I have someone that I've worked with for years, and I believe that helps me to have trust in another individual, that I can connect my soul with them, and they love me, and it's because this is about us, yet it's about us connecting with other people. So oh my gosh, we totally disconnected. So that must mean that it's time for this to be done. All right, Iain, can you hang out for just a second? I'm going to stop recording. Y'all, thank you everybody for showing up. Love you all to pieces. Over
exactly.
now.
Universe got a funny way of saying goodbye.
It does, right? Like, you're done. All right, we're done. See ya. So cool of you to be here. I went from being off most social media to being on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Truth Social, and you might be watching this on YouTube, Rumble, or BitChute. Or you might be listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. I'm on over 19 directories at this point. So connect, comment, subscribe, like. Oh, and my intention is to have a new episode out Wednesday of each week. Oh, Lordy, more to come.